This is World War II, 1939 to 1945. All these events that you're seeing in these slides are the main events that happened during World War II and how it shaped our country that we live in today and many other countries. After all these pictures are over, you'll get a brief explanation of every event that happened during the war and what we still have today from the war and how it affected us. So, World War II was a real disaster, if you already know. There was the Holocaust, there was the bomb of Hiroshima, and there was invasion of Poland, bombing in Pearl Harbor, and all of this was because of Germany. So after World War One, Germany made an agreement with the Allied forces to not take any more territory than they already should have taken. So they signed that treaty, which was the Treaty of Versailles. And once Hitler came to power, he said, "You know what? I'm gonna take more territory just because I can." So he, like I said, he took more territory. So he ended up invading France and conquering the Western France. But France could have done something about it, but they just chose not to. So while Germany took over the Western fronts, now they can have focus on the Eastern fronts and invade Russia. So that's what they did. They had a operation called Operation Barbarossa, where they had three fronts conquer three different cities in Russia. And after all those places were taken care of, they would go to Moscow. So after they tried to invade Moscow, Stalin's forces was able to hold off or defend their territory. So that helped Russia defeat Germany in a sense. But Britain, who was ruled by Winston Churchill, he was the prime minister, and they basically had a long strip of land, which is today the UK now. But during World War II, it was basically a nice big piece of land that U.S. could land their planes on, and that helped the U.S. because they were much closer to Germany. That way, they could send attacks and fight on their territory. So then I'm gonna kill a whole bunch of Jews and a whole bunch of other soldiers just because I can. So Hitler built a whole bunch of concentration camps or death camps or work camps. So what he did is that he had all these camps scattered around Germany, Poland, which was invaded by Germany, and Russia. They both agreed not to fight each other, so they both invaded Poland. But he made a whole bunch of camps throughout Germany and even Poland, and he threw in a whole bunch of people in, preferably 6+ million people were killed in those camps. And nobody knew about it. Absolutely no one. The US did not know about it, Russia didn't know about it, Britain didn't know about it, nobody knew about it till the end of the war. But then Japan was ended up bombing Pearl Harbor, but Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he knew about it, but he just kind of ignored it because he had a trick up his sleeve. So most of the ships were completely destroyed, except the USS Texas and maybe very few other ships. But the Arizona was destroyed, and it's still a monument today. It still leaks oil in the ocean. It affects us today because so many people were killed in those camps, and it was so many that it's just no joke, like at all. And those camps, some of those camps there in Germany are museums today. So you can probably go visit them. They have a lot of museums scattered out about World War II. In Dallas, at the Holocaust Museum, we have museums in Washington, D.C. all about it. And everybody, it's a very well-known thing that is taught to students, at least mainly in the U.S. But I really don't agree with any of these things that Hitler did or anything that happened at all. Hitler really made a bad choice just breaking the treaty and actually causing war and causing so many people to die for just because you wanted more living space. He started the war entirely, but by the end of the war, he ended up committing suicide. And Germany surrendered. Japan, they were fighting a lot. Japan put up a lot of fighting against many people. Japan fought their hardest. They put in a lot of effort to try to fight as best as they could. They bombed Pearl Harbor, and they put up many other fights. One other interesting fact was that my grandfather on my father's side flew in World War II. He flew the P-51 Thunderbolt. He ended up making it back home after the war was over.